Good afternoon and welcome back to the Circuito de jerez-angel Nieto. Round 6 of the FIM CEV Repsol Championship coming to a close. Just one race remaining, the final European Talent Cup race of the day, where earlier on, by the finest of margins, Izan Guevara was crowned our 2019 European Talent Cup champion. He sits 75 points clear of Fermin Aldeguer after taking a 6th consecutive victory. And here is how it happened.
It was the pole sitter number 92 of Diogo Moreira who got into the lead at turn 1. As we see, big crash there for the number 69. After a good start from Marcus Roode, he went down the road unfortunately for him, but he'll be back up and raring to go in race 2 as the top 2. Championship winner now, Izan Guevara, battled the number 92 of Moreira, but Guevara did run wide, didn't have it all his own way. As we see the Angel Nieto teammates of David Alonso, who eventually finished 5th. We see Guevara running wide once more, but he was able to get back on terms as Sako, teammate to the title winner, take the lead of the race. And it was those three who would clear off into the distance as a battle of 3 for the race win in the first ETC race in Jerez. That was the number 72 going down the road. As there we see Fermin Aldeguer, the man who was 2nd in the championship, the only man really who could have done anything about the race leader, Izan Guevara, from taking the win and the championship with it, and that's exactly what he did. Wild celebrations for the Cuna de Campeones, and this was it. Fermin Aldeguer losing out on the line to number 24 Izan Ortola, and that was that in terms of the championship. Unfortunate for Fermin Aldeguer, but jubilation for the number 28 Izan Guevara after a simply stunning season, which has seen him take the last 6 race victories. Will it be number 7 in race 2? We shall find out very shortly under stunning conditions at the Circuito de jerez-angel Nieto.
15 laps ahead of them then for the European Talent Cup. Still plenty to play for, despite the championship now being wrapped up. Incidentally, there's race victories up for grabs. We've, amazingly, in the European Talent Cup, only seen 2 men stand on the top step of the podium this year in the 8 races that we've seen. I mean, not helped by the fact that Izan Guevara has won 6 of them, but of course at the very first round of the year we had a double victor as well in the form of Izan Ortola. Ambient air temperature now, a remarkable, sweltering 36 degrees here in Jerez de la Frontera. Rather toasty it is. And
thankfully we have aircon in the comms box, else we'd be on our hands and knees.
We would. Track temperature as a result now edging ever closer to 50 degrees as well. It is remarkably hot here in Jerez, despite it being late September, nearly October. So there is the number 28, soon to see a number 1 aboard that Cuna de Campeones machine. Has the championship wrapped up, but he will make certain of it in this race here before the celebrations can spark into life for the Cuna de Campeones squad later on tonight. Of course, Izan Guevara, being 15 years of age, won't be participating too heavily in those celebrations, but I'm sure the team will have themselves a survivor or 2 this evening, and quite rightly as well.
He can have a few panda pops, can't he? I remember being 15 years old and having a few panda pops at the school discos. He'll be doing that, but one man who'll be aimed to spoil the party a little bit to stop Guevara from getting a 7th win in a row is this man, your pole sitter, Diogo Moreira. Cracking ride from the young Brazilian in race 1, finishing 2nd. His first podium of the season, so a good ride for the Brazilian number 92, and he'll be going, hopefully, for his sake, we'll be going 1 better.
can see in the back of the picture former Moto2 World Championship rider Kev Coggan, a part of the Estrella Galicia squad. The man at the front of your picture there alongside the number 92, just having a word in the ear of Diogo Moreira before he starts from pole position. Just ran out of steam in the closing stages of that one, which the same cannot be said for this man. Quite the impressive record down the right-hand side of your screen there, with double victory in Valencia, a victory in Barcelona, a double victory in Aragon, and now eyeing a double victory here in Jerez as well, and making it 7 consecutive race wins.
Yeah, simply unstoppable so far this season.
He will be moving on without doubt to the Junior World Championship next season, given his form this year in the European Talent Cup. And we've seen what the likes of Xavi Artigas has been able to do in his first year of that Junior World Championship, having won the European Talent Cup last year. And you possibly don't have to be very clever to predict more of the same coming from Izan Guevara, given how strong he's been.
Certainly not. You see the spaceship there, the famous Reth spaceship, and Guevara has been out of this world so far this season. As we look at his teammate Daijiro Sako, 15-year-old.
That was terrible.
I know, I'm sorry. It just came to me.
Absolutely terrible. Cuna de Campeones squad there having quite the day yesterday, with Izan Guevara in the middle of the front row, Daijiro Sako on the outside of the front row, and then the third of their bikes fronting row number 2. Juan Rodriguez, the number 38, will start from 4th on the grid. And then they have 4 bikes in this field, and you can just see the number 69 in the back of the picture there. That is Marcos Roode, who will start from 8th on the grid. So all 4 bikes inside the top 8. A great day for that team yesterday. Roode made a super start from row 3 in race number 1 before crashing out on the exit of Danny Pedrosa corner, so we're hoping not to do the same again this time around. Rodriguez went well though, before unfortunately crashing out in race number 1. Did the number 38, was well in the hunt for a best finish though. There is Fermin Aldeguer. Unfortunately, his hopes of a 2019 championship are now over, despite them being 75 points adrift. And obviously with 2 races remaining, there's 75 points still on the table, but the 6 victories for Guevara means even if the worst was to happen and he was to not score any points in the remaining 3 races, even if Aldeguer was to win all 3 of them, he wouldn't be able to better those 6 victories that Guevara has been able to pick up.
Here's Lorenzo Fellon, as you can see there, 10th in race 1.
But was
15-year-old Frenchman.
Well in the hunt for a top 5 finish. Yep. A real gaggle of riders all battling it out to get themselves inside the top 5, with Fellon in the closing stages just shuffling backwards out of the mix. Here's the number 80 of David Alonso, part of the Qatar Ángel Nieto junior squad. Just 13 years of age is David. Already has 3 podiums to his name, coming in Estoril, a double in Aragon, and then was inside the top 5 in the first race of the day here in Jerez, which means he currently sits 4th in the championship table. So you would imagine we'll see him back in this field a year older, a year maturer at 14 next year, and could well be one of the title favourites going into it.
Yeah, just lost out on the leading quartet in the opening stages, did the number 80 Alonso after making a solid start. But yeah, I completely agree, Jack. He'll be one to look out for next year for the title. As I'm sure this man, José Antonio Rueda, 4th place in race 1.
Yeah, 4th in the 2018 championship. Currently, as you can see there, 5th in this year's championship. Has a pole position and a podium to his name. And he has a race victory to his name from last year as well. So I'm sure the Estrella Galicia talent team were hoping that Rueda was going to go one better and at least get himself onto the championship podium this time around. He's still got time to do that, but a little bit of inconsistency means that he's quite the way behind Izan Guevara, although to be perfectly frank, everybody's quite a way behind that man this year. Here's Marcos Roode. Great to see him back onto the grid after quite a tumble in race number 1. Spat over the handlebars quite viciously on the exit of turn 6, but He's dusted himself off and he's back onto the grid, hoping to replicate the start we saw from him earlier in the day.
Yeah, it was a super launch from the Spaniard, getting himself up into the top 5 before, yeah, unfortunately crashing out quite heavily on the exit of turn 6. But like I say, good to see him back up, and he'll be raring to go in this race too. As we take a look at the Brit, Fenton Seabright. He had a solid race in race 1 in that big gaggle of riders battling for the top 10 positions. Eventually finished just inside the points in 14th.
But it was a good ride from Seabright though. Was well in that mix for a top 10 finish. Just a 3rd one of the year. Had a message earlier on today, just wishing the best of health to his dad. Says, I think it said get well soon, Pop. So again, we're wishing all the best to the Seabright family, and in particular Dad. Hopefully we'll see him in Albacete in a few weeks' time, or if not, in Valencia for the season finale. Seabright, incidentally, just 1 place on the grid ahead of the other Brit, with Mark Keane holding the umbrella. There is Jack Hart. Best result of the year by some margin in the first race. Up to 11th was the young Scot, just 15 years of age now, having finished the British Talent Cup. He's got quite a busy schedule ahead of him because he'll be at Donington Park next week for the penultimate round of the Motor2 Championship, and then in Albacete as well. So he's certainly getting his air miles up, is the young Scotsman. Right, we've got 1 race left here in Jerez, and it's the final European Talent Cup race with Diogo Moreira on pole position. Alongside him, the new champion Izan Guevara and Daijiro Sako. Juan Rodriguez, Lorenzo Fellon and David Alonso is row number 2. With row 3, Jose Rueda, Marcos Roode, and the first of the Brits, Fenton Seabright.
Yeah, the aforementioned Jack Hart leading row 4 ahead of Joel Kelso. Another good finish for the Australian in race 1 ahead of Zonta van den Gorberg, Daniel Munoz, Fermin Aldegea and Mattea Volpi. On row 5 with row 6 consisting of Alex Malan, Roberto Garcia and Ivan Ortola.
Row 7 of the grid, Adrian Cruces, Eric Fernandez and Andreas Koffler. With row 8, Gavin Plonks, Carlos Torresias and Marco Tapia. Row 9, Mattea Falzone, Clement Rouge and Julio Garcia.
Row 10 is the German Dirk Geiger ahead of Julian Avila and Marco Gaggi. Row 11 is Filippo Melia Palazzi ahead of Maria Maya and Zailufin bin Asman. Noah Detweiler, Soma Gorbe and Michael Bulik.
And the final row of the grid, Dean Berta and the brilliantly named, as we mentioned in race number 1, the American Rossi Moore. So here we go then, European Talent Cup time for the 2nd occasion here in Jerez. The champagne is on ice. Not for this man though, a disaster. We've not even got underway and already issues for the number 93 out there of Marco Gaggi, the Italian. He's going to start from the row number 10 of the grid, but it looks like it's going to be a pit lane start for him. No such issues for your new champion Izan Guevara though. As we say, champagne on ice for the team. The crown is being polished. The trophy has his name etched into it. This just a formality now before the celebrations on the podium and on the cool-down lap will ensue in 15 laps' time.
Yep, it's just a question of whether or not that super number 7 will come his way after this race. Well, there you go, in 36-degree temperatures, ground temperature 45. Tough conditions for the youngsters out there, but they'll be getting the job done no matter, and we'll be raring to go in a minute or so's time as the riders head down on their warm-up laps.
Lorenzo Fellon there is one of the first men to go through. Has had quite the week as the Frenchman. Ended the European Talent Cup race earlier on today down in 10th, but was competing for a top 5 finish, having just ended 5th in the Red Bull Rookies Championship a fortnight ago, should I say, in Misano. There was confirmation of the championship picture. 75 points the advantage to Izan Guevara, confirming him as your 2019 European Talent Cup champion. But he's still got to go to work here, and he will be eyeing a 7th straight victory in this category to well and truly put his dominant stamp on the 2019 championship.
Certainly wouldn't bet against him, but it's going to make that man there, the number 92 pole sitter, even more hungrier to try and beat him. Came close in race 1, got a good launch off the line, was in the leading group throughout, gets his tires warmed up, weaving from side to side as he prepares to launch maybe into the whole shot. Can he fend off that man? 28 in the middle of your picture, your new champion of the European Talent Cup.
Unsurprisingly, all eyes are on him, but it will be the Brazilian, that man right there, Diogo Moreira, to start from pole position. Just his first pole position in the European Talent Cup. Made a good start last time around. Can he do the same once again? Or will we see, like we saw in race number 1, Daijiro Sako, the teammate to Izan Guevara, get in the mix and finally get the better of the number 28. Couple of issues at the back of the grid there, just can't see exactly who that is, but the green flag has been waved. The red flag moves away at the front, all eyes on the lights. Moreira starts from pole position alongside the new champion Guevara. It's a strong start from Moreira, and again he comes across the front wheel of Guevara as they go across the start-finish line and head down towards turn number 1. A good start from David Alonso from the outside of row 2. We'll see him settling to 2nd place, with Fellon just trying to break through there into 5th. But again, Guevara gets himself out of trouble and settles into 2nd as we've got a faller at the back of the pack.
Yeah, Guevara wasn't going to let David Alonso have that 2nd place easy. I'm not sure who the faller is at the back, but we'll get confirmation soon enough. But again, a lightning start from your poleman, Diogo Moreira, the 15-year-old, as he comes under attack now from Guevara. Is he going to take the race lead, the new champion? Yes, he is. A great move into turn 5.
Pressure's off for him now. The championship it is. It's all about race victories and putting his mark on this series. He's wasting no time whatsoever. In race 1, he made a couple of mistakes, took his time to get past Moreira, but this time around, within half a lap, he's pounced and he's hit the front as the number 28 of Izan Guevara.
Yeah, the poleman has now slipped to 3rd as David Alonso from the grid is into 2nd. There, the yellow helmet, you can't really miss him. Number 69 there, the first Marcus Roode, 69. He is down. Where is he? He's made a good start into 5th. Yeah, he made a good start again, so hopefully he can stay on this time around.
Another good jump from Roode, and fortunate for him, he's managed to get through the Pedrosa corner without being spat over the top, as we saw in race number 1. But this is a dangerous sight, an all too familiar sight in the 2019 European Talent Cup. Guevara leading and looking to break clear. Alonso managed to push him all the way in Aragon a couple of weeks ago as we get confirmation of the fall. And unfortunately, it is Rossi Moore from the back of the grid that's crashed out at turn 1 on lap 1.
Yeah, unfortunate for the American, but now we focus back on the front, and it is your new champion Guevara leading the way as the gaggle of riders try to keep clear. David Alonso, yeah, it is David Alonso, number 8. He pulls out the slipstream, goes into 2nd, back up past the number 92 of Diogo Moreira. Nice, clean move from the Spaniard past the Brazilian.
Keep an eye on the 95 of Roode as well. He's come through from row 3 of the grid, just settling behind his teammate Moreira. Sako was on the podium, 2nd incidentally in race number 1. He's there in 5th as well, so don't count him out. And Marcos Roode finally starting to settle into a rhythm now after an unfortunate ending to race number 1. And there is Lorenzo Fellon, the Frenchman behind him. Never been inside the top 4 of a European Talent Cup race, but it's a good start for him. Meanwhile, at the front, Guevara goes left. Everybody else goes right. David Alonso leading the charge against the new champion. Can he find a way up the inside? No way through there. The latest of the late breakers was your new champion, Guevara. Alonso and Moreira unable to find a way through.
I thought Alonso was going to stick a sneaky wheel at the inside of the race leader, but he in fact has lost it to number 95, José Antonio Rueda. Great start, Mike Sajak from row 3 as Guevara now edges clear of the rest as they battle for that 2nd position. They've just got to keep line astern for a few laps to not allow the new champion and race leader to get clear, because yeah, this is an all too familiar sight as the race leader looks behind to see a little bit of a gap forming.
has a look over his shoulder, and we'll see a bit of a distance between his rear wheel and the front wheel of Jose Rueda, but there's still plenty of time to go in this one. We're into the final corner. Very shortly, there will be 13 laps remaining of this one. It's a short, sharp blast for the European Talent Cup, guys. And it's a familiar sight. We've seen it since, well, the very first round of the year. We have to go back to Estoril in, when was that? April?
Yeah, April.
For the last time that Izan Guevara hasn't won a European Talent Cup race, and he looks to be on course to continue that record with a superb 7th win.
Yeah, Diogo Moreira ran him all the way, as did his teammate Sako in the first race. Where is Sako at the minute? He's lying in 5th, just behind your pole sitter Moreira. So they were able to run with him in the first race. Looks like they're not quite on it in the second race, but 13 laps to go, there's still a long way. And in this heat, you never know what can happen with the tyres. Slippery surface. As David Alonso pulls out the slipstream of the number 95, will the Spaniard go into second? It looks like he will. He's alongside him. Nice clean move there from the number 80.
David Alonso up to second then. Moreira still there in 4th. He's having a good look up the inside of his teammate there, but couldn't follow through the number 80 of David Alonso. Meanwhile, keep an eye on the 23 of Alex Millán. He's just set the fastest lap of the race there in 5th place. He's come through from a long way down on the grid as the number 23. He was 16th on the grid, but in the space of 2 laps, he's already up to 6th place, off 5th place, should I say. Make it 4th very shortly, because he's all over the rear wheel of Diogo Moreira.
Yeah, what a cracking start from the number 23 as the race leader comes through turn 10. Let's be interested to see what the gap is. It was half a second at the start of the last lap. I don't think it's been edged out that too much more. As we see the gaggle of riders behind, it's a long train of European Talent Cup competitors. As we go 4 abreast into the final corner, it's the number 92 now who has it. It's Diogo Moreira, your pole sitter, who now leaves the charge onto Guevara as he says to the riders behind, stick behind me, we need to catch up to the championship leader.
The Brazilian didn't particularly gently tap the back of his Estrella Galicia machine there. That was quite an aggressive touch, because he knows that there's panic setting in, not only for him, but for everyone else behind him as well, because Guevara, bit by bit, is starting to pull clear. His advantage over the line, 0.8 of a second. I mean, he'd move his championship lead out to 94 points, but that pretty much is irrelevant. It's all about that fight for second and third, because Alonso, Aldeguer, and was that Ortola as well, separated by just 3 points at the moment as things stand. A long way to go, though. The championship may well be settled, but the fight to finish on the podium in Valencia is heating up by some margin.
Yeah, Alonso just taking a good long look over his shoulder there on the crest of turn 5. He's got a face full of Cuna de Campeones rider, Daijiro Sako, just behind him, that number 74. As we focus in on, is that Ortola? I think it could be, in 12th place, the man challenging for second in the World Championship, and the man who pretty much handed the title to your race leader Guevara. But it looks like the number 92, your pole sitter, Moreira, is closing in on your race leader Guevara. He's not going to just run away with this by the looks of things in the early stages. 12 laps to go.
No, he's definitely reeling him in here, is the Brazilian. The gap, as we said, 0.8 of a second last time around. It's definitely beneath that now. It's a good ride coming in from Moreira. A debut podium finish last time out has filled in with an extra incentive now. He's ticked that one box. He's now got another one to try and tick. He's fancying a debut race victory as the Brazilian. Big moment there for his teammate Rueda in 3rd place. Spat out of the seat as he tried to apply the gas down the start-finish straight, and that means he's lost touch with his teammate Moreira. David Alonso has got ahead of him, as has Daijiro Sako as well, so not the way that Jose Rueda would have hoped for that one to go. But meanwhile, better news for his teammate. The fastest man on track, as you can see, is the Brazilian Diogo Moreira, and he's now just a 1/4 of a second off the back of Izan Guevara.
Yeah, what a cracking lap that was from the man in 2nd place, tucked up right behind the Cuna de Campeones. Oh, not for long, he's now in front of the Cuna de Campeones machine of Guevara, who slips down 2nd place. Can he bite back straight away down into turn 6? Not sure he's quite close enough. Get the slipstream, here he comes, pulls out the slipstream. Is he late on the brakes? Yeah, he is. Great run down the back straight for the number 28, and he retakes the lead of the race. Is that Sako going to be inside Alonso further back? Yes, it is, but he runs a little bit wide, so will Alonso get back past? Hard to tell from that camera angle. I think Alonso might just hold it. Yes, he has. The number 80 holding off the number 74 as Guevara continues on his way to the race lead, but we have a race on. Moreira is sticking with him.
It's not as we thought it might go. Izan Guevara, despite hitting the front in the opening lap of this race, hasn't been able to break clear. Moreira managed to escape from that almighty fight for third place behind him and tag onto the rear wheel. He then got in front of him, but Guevara bit back immediately, and now these two look set to break clear from the rest of the pack. We've seen this before. So many people have taken the fight to Guevara, with Aldeguer, Alonso, Rueda, a handful of riders all finishing second behind him. But can we finally see somebody get the better of Izan Guevara in this one? Moreira certainly looks up for it.
Yeah, the top three in race 2 currently is your top 3 from race 1, but will it be for long? Because David Alonso is looking feisty up the inside of the 74. Sako not quite, as Alonso then loses a place. Or does he? Does he hold it on around the outside? I think he does, yeah. Well played from the number 80, but yeah, I don't think they're moving that much clear. They're 0.5 over the line, so the gaggle of riders, despite having a little bit of a scrap, they're closing them in. So maybe Guevara and Moreira just thinking about tyre wear, because of, like we've said, the heat is now above 35 degrees, so it's hot out there.
0.2 of a second, Sako closed in on that last lap. Big moment for Guevara, just proving how slippery it is now there. Now with track temperature exceeding or edging ever closer to 50 degrees. Guevara just trying to get onto the gas down the hill.
What a move from Sako. 2 in 1, can he hold it? Yeah, excellent move from Japanese rider.
From third to first, should I say, from Daijiro Sako, and he led a European Talent Cup race for the very first time earlier today. He's used to it now, and he's back in front. He's a Cuna de Campeones 1-2. And we've got, riders all the way back to the number 20 of Jack Hart. Super ride coming from the little Scot in 8th place, tagging onto the back of this leading group. Well, the British Talent Cup rider is putting in his best ride of the year by some margin. This is brilliant stuff coming from the diminutive Scotsman. Yeah,
phenomenal showing there from the Scotsman in 8th place. He's right in this hunt for the race win, which is now being led by that number 74 of Sako. Is anyone going to look at the inside? The number 95 of Rueda looks at the inside. Oh, that's close. Nearly tagging the back of Alonso, but he narrowly avoids the Spaniard as they come over the line. Is Guevara in the slipstream? He is, but will he pull out of the slipstream? He does, but will he make a move into turn 1? No, he doesn't. Sako is going to hold the race lead. Into turn 1 we go. There he is, Jack Hart on the back of that screen, the number 20 bike. Fellon just in front of him.
Just about hanging on at the moment is Jack Hart. He started his British Talent Cup campaign in brilliant style, finishing second at the first round at Silverstone. He hasn't tasted podium success since then, eventually ending the year 9th overall behind the eventual British Talent Cup champion Scott Ogden. But this is a super ride coming from the young man from Scotland.
Super impressive also, because Jerez is a track where the Spaniards will know and be supreme around, and Jack Hart not as much because of residing in the UK for his early career. So this is a tremendous ride from that man at the back of that group. So he takes a little look behind. Is that Sako still in the lead? Yes, it is.
The Japanese rider still leading the way with his teammate behind him. Moreira hanging on to 3rd place at the moment, but he's got his teammate for company. Meanwhile, just starting to make a move through is the Frenchman Lorenzo Fellon. David Alonso has lost out over the past half a lap or so because he's been shuffled backwards to 7th now. But Sako at the front of the race leading the pace, and let's not have any of the shenanigans that we had in the Junior World Championship earlier. He just sat up for a minute to Daijiro Sako before then eventually putting his head back down behind the bubble.
So let's see how close the lead in 8 are over the line. It was 9/10. I'm sure it's pretty much the same because no one is breaking clear at this moment in time. Sako, well, it would have not really been a surprise to see a gaggle at the front in the European Talent Cup as his teammate shallows him under the spaceship, not quite into turn 1, but the number 95 is going to have a look, but not quite on his teammate. Moreira holds 3rd, your pole sitter.
So it's two Cuna de Campeones machines leading two Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team machines. Lorenzo Fellon's there in fifth, ahead of a number of the junior teams in the Qatar Ángel Nieto squad, ridden by David Alonso. There's a view into the Cuna de Campeones garage. There may well be some nerves jangling at the moment with their riders first and second. The last thing they want is for them to come to blows, but at the moment they're keeping it nice and tidy, with Sako still leading. A look over the shoulder from Alex Mann. He's going to give Jack Hart an opportunity to move further up the order as we head down towards turn number 6. Hard on the brakes in the back of your picture is a number 20. No way through, will remain in 8th place. Meanwhile, Fellon around the outside of Roode, I think it is. He's going to have the inside line here into turn 7. So the Frenchman now up inside the top 4 after getting ahead of Roode.
Yeah, the Frenchman making nice moves there. It's clean racing so far from these European Talent Cup riders. As we see Guevara now in the race lead ahead of his teammate Sako is Fellon. Great move up the inside into 3rd place. Good progress on this lap from the Frenchman. Doesn't run it wide, so that's good. Now he has the two Cuna de Campeone machines in his sights. Does the number 5 there on the silver machine. As Sako shadows his teammate closely into the last sector. Flick it right, stand it up, flick it right again before the tight left-hander of Jorge Lorenzo corner. A good pass in place as we see the number 95 go for a pass. No, it's the number 23 of Alex Millán under Alonso. Get it stood up, boys, on the run to the line, and it's Guevara who will lead with 7 laps to go as we cross the line. Another lap ticked off for these riders.
Well, a long way to go for Lorenzo Fellon, but he's been inside the top 6 on 2 occasions so far this year in the European Talent Cup. Meanwhile, in the Red Bull Rookies, he finished inside the top 6 on an unbelievable 8 occasions without ever tasting podium success. So that's in 2019. 10 times he's finished either 4th, 5th or 6th without being on the podium. I think it's fair to say he's overdue a trip to the Parc Fermé. At the moment, it's looking good for the Frenchman. He's made his way through the field, having got the better of David Alonso and the two Estrella Galicia machines, and he's now looking to move up into 2nd. Meanwhile, that's one of the riders that's gone down. Julen Avia has gone down. He was quite a long way down the order, I think, was the number 15. He wasn't in the reckoning for the points positions, but it's all changed. We flick away for just a second, and suddenly Fellon, having looked like he was going to take 2nd, he's now back down to 4th. There's another of the fallers. Daniel Munoz has gone down to number 7. Either he's crashed out or it's a technical problem for the Spaniard, but things stay the same with Sako as far clear as we've seen throughout the majority of this race. That is 2, possibly even 3/10 of a second now for the Japanese rider ahead of his teammate. A couple of bits of action, bits of overtaking behind, including, just like we're seeing now, with Moreira having a big look up the inside of Guevara, has allowed Sako to edge clear here. They can't continue with this sort of action too much longer, otherwise Sako will get the jump.
Well, I'm just interested to see if the man leading the battle just behind these guys, coming into your picture just there, how close they are. They're a second off on the last lap, so let's just see if they are closing on the gaggle. But the scrap for the podium places continues as we race under for another lap, and it's the 74 who holds nearly half-second advantage now, and the gap behind stays at 1.1 between the two battles, so pretty stagnant.
It is still Guevara, your new champion there, in 2nd. Alex Millán has just popped up out of nowhere there in 4th place, as Moreira still holds on to 3rd as well. Those 7 riders from 2nd down to 8th place, all line astern at the moment as they set the sights on the 74 ahead of them. They've got half a second to chase down, and look like they're doing a good job of that at the moment. Looks like this little bit of a breather for Sako is going to be short-lived, because sooner rather than later he's going to have the pressure of 7 riders breathing down his neck, with Moreira fancying his chances up the inside of Guevara. No way through though. Just like that, Sako has been closed in. We're back to an 8-rider scrap at the front of this one with 5.5 laps remaining. The laps really are ticking away now, and previous European Talent Cup races are anything to go by. Anybody inside this top 8 could well find themselves stood on the top step of the podium in about 10 minutes time.
Yeah, absolutely. The slipstream coming into full effect there down the back straight. Sako had a nice little 4/10 cushion, but that was soon wiped away from the chasing packers. I thought the number 92 of Moreira was going to have a look at the inside of Guevara, but he's super strong into the brakes and turn 6 as we flick through the two fast right-handers. Is everyone going to make a move into the Jorge Lorenzo corner at turn 13? Looks like Alex Millán, the number 23, is going to slip under the inside of your pole sitter Diogo Moreira. Nice clean move there from the Spaniard as he now claims a provisional podium position. But is Guevara going to retake the lead of this race into turn 1? Not quite. Sako nice and late on the brakes there, gets stopped into the apex.
A look over the shoulder from Guevara there, seeing a different number behind him, a different livery behind him, because it's Alex Millán and he's got for company this time around. Number 23 picked up a podium once already this year at Aragon at the last round. He's looking for another one here at Jerez, but he's going to have a real fight on his hands because there's a whole host of riders ganging up behind him, with the prime contender at the moment, the Brazilian Diogo Moreira. Jack Hart's there, he is the number 20, still staying there on the back of this group. It looks like he's quite possibly just at his absolute limit to stay with these guys at the moment, but as we get into the closing stages, as drama begins to unfold ahead of him, just like we're seeing now with Guevara retaking the lead, and in one foul swoop Sako goes from first to third because through goes Alex Millán as well. Hart will be hoping to pick up the pieces if they continue to scrap like that. Sako back under the inside to second place, and then Moreira making a move on Millán. It's all action now, it's sparked into life. 4.5 laps to go here in Jerez, the final race of the day, with your new champion Guevara leading.
It's getting tasty in the European Talent Cup. 4.5 laps to go, soon to be 4 laps remaining, and it literally is any one of these top 8s as the number 80 of David Alonso looks behind to see a face full of Jack Hart. Can he start making progress through the order? We'll wait and see, but it's the two Cuna de Campeones machines who lead the way. Is Millán going to have a look at the inside of the number 92? He is, and he's going to make it stick for the second lap in succession.
Meanwhile, Lorenzo Fellon, the Frenchman there on the silver machine, just looks like he was momentarily edged further wide by José Antonio Rueda, the 95, who tried to get in front of him, but instead the number 5 sweeps across him. David Alonso making move. Surely that's too close for comfort. I thought for a second we were going to have a domino effect there, but somehow all of these riders have just about kept it sensible so far. But we're getting into that stage of the race now where late lunges and desperation start to come into it. No such desperation for the man at the front though. Izan Guevara is used to leading a race. He's won the previous 6 European Talent Cup races, and he's in the prime position to pick up win number 7 here, with his teammate Daijiro Sako all over his rear wheel.
Yeah, every one of these riders are hungry for that race victory, including Guevara. He wants that 7th race win in a row. He doesn't want to leave an inch to his rivals, but he's left 1 inch there as he sweeps around, loses 2 positions in one to teammate, and Alex Millán slips down to 3rd place as your new champion, as now Sako again leads the way heading into turn 8 and turn 9 into the stadium section. There we see the 2 Estrella Galicia boys keeping tabs on the leaders.
It's getting too close for comfort already into turn 6 as there goes Guevara, just parks it up the inside of Alex Millán. You can see Sako just starting to break clear again. He's done this once already, and Guevara could see his teammate just starting to put the hammer down with now nearly 3 laps remaining, so it was a desperate move to get back under the inside of Alex Millán to close in his teammate and not allow a race victory to edge away from everybody else. Into the final corner, here comes Rueda looking up the inside of Alex Millán, gets that job done. He's into 3rd now, or is he? Because Millán will hold on around the outside and just about keeps hold of 3rd place with the pair side by side down the start finish straight in towards turn number 1. Meanwhile, that's just allowing the 2 Cuna de Campeones guys to have themselves a little bit of room. 1st and 2nd, with Sako leading, Guevara in 3rd, but in no time whatsoever, Rueda closes back in onto the rear wheel of Sako, and we're back to this 8-rider gaggle, all fighting it out for the win. It's getting to the stage now where it's close your eyes stuff going into Pedrosa corner. I really don't even want to think what it's going to be like on the final lap if it stays as it is, but at the moment Sako leads, Guevara there in 2nd, and I think it's Rueda who is in third with his teammate Moreira in fourth, Fellon fifth, Alonso sixth, Jack Hart in seventh, challenging Alex Millán for eighth, but it could all change oh so quickly, as it is going to do right now into turn number 6, with Rueda up the inside of Daijiro Sako and Guevara back out in front.
Guevara is an absolute beast on the brakes into turn 6. That could stand him in good stead on the last lap for sure if he's up the sharp end of this 8-rider battle for the lead, as it's now the two Estrella Galicia boys of Rueda and your pole sitter Moreira, who sit second and third ahead of Fellon, and Sako's just getting a little bit beaten up on this with 3 laps to go. Is the Japanese rider who's going in search of his first win of the year, but it's your championship winner Guevara who currently leads the way. But is that the number 95 of Rueda sitting in second? It is. He's closing him down. Will he go for a move up the inside at the final corner? Looks like he might do. But Matola again strong on the brakes.
He takes a really good line into there. A wide sweeping line, should I say, from Izan Guevara. And as a result, he gets a great drive down the start-finish straight. Nobody able to pull alongside him with the slipstream. Now just 2 laps remaining, nearly contact between the two teammates there. Wide, yeah. And Sako and Fellon coming together, and Jack Hart looking to pounce. He's up to 7th. Fellon wasn't best pleased with the move being put on him by Sako, and it's just fractured the group ever so slightly now. The elastic is as stretched as it's been throughout this race between these 8 riders. If anything, it looks like the podium fight is gonna go down to Guevara, Moreira or Rueda. These 3 are clear with 1.5 laps remaining as we go down for the penultimate time. The back straight in towards Pedrosa corner. Guevara leads with Rueda second, Moreira third. All 3 of them will pull out surely. Here comes Rueda. Can he take the lead away from Guevara? No, he can't. The door slammed shut by the new champion. But Moreira, sorry, not giving him any room whatsoever. He says, if you can do that, well, I can do it as well, and puts him onto the grass nearly on the outside of turn number 6. That won't please Guevara very much as he tries to fight back, and again he's put onto the dirt. That was probably Guevara's fault himself, trying the long way round and ran out of road and had to sit up in the end. So as a result, the champion has had to settle for 3rd place into this final sector for the penultimate time.
Yeah, aggressive riding from the race leader, Jose Rueda, but firm but fair, you could say on the... who's that down? Is that Jack Hart? I think it is.
It is.
The 20's disappeared.
Oh, what a shame. He was having an absolutely storming ride with the diminutive Scotsman. Unfortunately for Jack Hart, it looks like he's crashed out with just 1 and a bit laps to go. Great shame for him crashing out of this leading group, but it means we've now got 7 riders and they're all back together. Leading us out onto the final lap is Jose Rueda, but here comes Guevara up into 2nd place.
Sako recovering there as well. Great dive up the inside as we take a look back to the number 10 of Adrian Crusez, who leads that battle for what is now 8th position with Jack Hart unfortunately crashing out.
So Rueda leads. Guevara still there, stalking him in 2nd place. He is surely the favourite on the run down into turn number 6 in a couple of moments, unless he tries an audacious move around the outside into turn 5. Well, we saw him pull off something similar in Aragon, and he's done it again. What a move! Around the outside into turn 5, the sensible option surely would have been to sit in behind.
That's close.
The fight for the win's going to go right down to the wire here. The 5 abreast into turn 6. Moreira pops out in front, but who will come out in turn 6 ahead? It looks like Moreira's going to hold on. Guevara, the champion's been shuffled backwards. Not that it'll matter to the championship picture. And the Brazilian leads with his teammate Rueda there in 2nd. And David Alonso's come from nowhere to be 3rd. But the fight back is coming from Guevara up into 3rd place. We're into the final sector. Surely he's not going to salvage a dream 7th victory here. He's looking up the inside of the number 95 of Rueda. No way through there. Time's running out for him. Meanwhile, Diogo Moreira holds it into the final stages.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the last corner, Jorge Lorenzo corner. Who is going to hold it? It's the Estrella Galicia boys leading the championship leader, but you can bet your bottom dollar that he is going to make a move into the last corner.
Here we go, 2 corners to go. Moreira leads, Rueda in 3rd, Guevara in 3rd. There's going to be a move coming. We know that he's wrapped the championship up, but can he take the victory? Around the outside again goes Guevara. The inside line held by the Brazilian Moreira. He's a long way wide, is Guevara. He's not going to win this one. The race victory. Finally, someone gets the better of him, going the way of Diogo Moreira. Moreira, the Brazilian, takes his first European Talent Cup victory. Guevara just steals third place across the line, but more importantly, he finally puts an exclamation mark on his 2019 championship. He is, as we knew before we got underway for race number 2, your 2019 European Talent Cup champion. And the golden helmet is brought out with a big number 1 aboard it to celebrate. Celebrations can begin for the number 28, Izan Guevara. 6 victories in a row. He couldn't wrap up the championship with a 7th victory here in Jerez, but he's on the podium nevertheless. And it confirms him as the dominant force in 2019. And there you have it. The European Talent Cup champion in 2019, that man right there, Izan Guevara. The win, incidentally, going the way, as we said, for the first time, a debut win for Diogo Moreira. A great final lap to hold off the advances of, well, 4, 5, 6 riders behind him. And David Alonso popped out to take 2nd place, with Alex Millán in 4th and Jose Rueda in 5th. Daijiro Sako coming across the line in 6th and Lorenzo Fellon, the final of those men in that leading group there in 7th. As the pictures take place, number 1 for the number 28. Palma de Mallorca already have themselves a 5-time world champion in the form of Jorge Lorenzo. Do they have themselves another future world champion in this man? He's been so good, a class above the rest in 2019. It's hard to bet against him. So many people tried to take the fight to Guevara, starting in Barcelona, where Fermin Aldeguer tried to get the better of him. David Alonso tried to get the better of him in Aragon as well, as he went on a sensational run of 6 straight victories. Nobody in European Talent Cup history had won 3 races in a row. Never mind 4, never mind 5, and never mind 6. And as a result, that man, Izan Guevara, is your 2019 European Talent Cup champion. Big wheelies to celebrate as well. I think he's quite pleased with picking up the championship, and why wouldn't you be as well? We'll see some big celebrations in Parc Ferme, because I'm sure the Estrella Galicia squad will be delighted with their man Moreira to pick up a debut win as well. It's only his first year in this series, but the diminutive Brazilian has finally come out on top. Only 14 years of age is Moreira, but already tasting victory. And the big question is, what's next for this man now? Surely the Junior World Championship, after being a league above everybody else in the European Talent Cup in 2019. Surely the Junior World Championship in 2020 awaits Izan Guevara. And then from then, who knows? He is well and truly on the road to MotoGP now. And he started it off with a championship win. It was confirmed in race 1, but he's put an exclamation mark on it here in race 2 with another podium finish, 16 points to add to his tally. And now the celebrations can commence. A great day for the Cuna de Campeones squad in Hull, with Daijiro Sako ending on the podium earlier today, and they've got another podium as well, with Guevara taking 3rd this time around. Those championship t-shirts haven't had to wait long. Often you can find they start to build up dust with the pressure of getting the job done, building, but he went out and won race number 1 in emphatic style, and eventually came across the line 3rd in that one, only just 20 thousandths of a second ahead of determined Alex Millán, but it was enough to make sure he ended the day on the podium and ended the day as champion as well. Celebrations in the nearest of our picture there as well. whole host of Estrella Galicia junior team guys making their way down to Parc Fermé to congratulate Diogo Moreira, who was the race winner in that one. A 10th of a second, or 0.161 clear of David Alonso in the end. With Alonso giving his congratulations to your new champion, Guevara. We'll hear from him shortly, I'm sure. But before that, let's hear from a debut race winner. The Brazilian Diogo Moreira is down with Elliot York.
Diogo, what a fantastic race and your first race win in the European Talent Cup. How do you feel?
Pues la verdad es que estoy muy feliz. Ha sido una carrera muy complicada porque hacía mucha calor, pero bueno, he imprimido un ritmo muy fuerte y he conseguido ganar. Gracias a mi equipo y a mi familia.
Gracias.
The Brazilian Diogo Moreira there, just saying that the temperature made it a real struggle out there. Unsurprisingly, temperatures above 36 degrees, giving his thanks to the team as well. After a strong weekend, pole position, and then finally picking up a race victory at the second attempt as well. The whole Estrella Galicia junior squad guys posing for the pictures there as well. Ahead of the press release has been sent out. And not a bad day for them, with two riders inside the top five, with Jose Rueda, you could possibly say unlucky to end fifth. But right, let's hear from your champion. He has been a dominant force in 2019. Your new European Talent Cup champion, Izan Guevara, is with Elliot.
Izan, 2019 European Talent Cup champion. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm very happy with the race and the battle of the people. Incredible. Incredible the championship. No words.
Y en castellano.
Ha sido una temporada muy luchada desde el primer momento y bueno, esta carrera ha sido muy luchada. Éramos como un montón de pilotos en un grupo y había lanzamientos por todos lados y no sabía ni dónde meterte. Pero bueno, o sea, al final hemos podido hacer un podium, que no está mal, y celebrar aquí en Jerez ser campeón de la European Talent Cup.
Gracias.
A vosotros.
Many congratulations to that man, the 2019 European Talent Cup champion. There's still 2 rounds remaining, but he's been that good this year. He's got it wrapped up already, and here is how it happened. In race number 2, well, he won race number 1, which meant he was champion, but he put an exclamation mark on it here in race number 2, despite being unable to take the victory. He led for quite a number of laps, did he, Izan Guevara, the number 28 there, but he was put under all kinds of pressure from a whole host of riders, including David Alonso, the number 80 there, and the number 92 behind him of Diogo Moreira. Alex Millán got into the fight with moves up the inside, as did Jose Rueda, teammate to Moreira as well, and suddenly we're left with 8 riders all fighting out at the front, with nearly all 8 of them getting a taste of a podium finish. Daijiro Sako, the Japanese rider, having finished second best to his teammate in race number 1, eventually took the lead, and for the vast majority of the race was the man who sort of led them out, unable to be passed by anybody until in the closing stages the intensity of the fight just went up a couple of notches, with Moreira and Guevara so close to touching on a couple of occasions. Guevara fighting back though as Rueda slammed the door shut and then looking for the long way around, but in the end Moreira would hold on with this move into Pedrosa corner as the championship board was readied for Izan Guevara. There were 4 abreast into the final corner, with Guevara looking for an audacious move around the outside. He couldn't make it 7 wins in a row, but I don't think it bothers him one jot, because he is the 2019 European Talent Cup champion, with the race win going the way of Diogo Moreira. A nice little burnout to celebrate as well. You do like to see a burnout every now and then when the opportunity provides itself to you. So here we go, on to the podium comes Diogo Moreira, onto the top step for the first time, as is David Alonso as well, the diminutive David Alonso. One of the youngest riders in the field is the number 80. And wearing the championship t-shirt, a big number 1 slapped across his chest, Izan Guevara. Third place in this one, but he is the 2019 European Talent Cup champion. The team award going the way of the Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team for the first time this year. And for the first time since April, Guevara picks up a trophy that doesn't have a number 1 on it. Third place for him. Second place going the way of David Alonso. A great ride from him. A 4th podium finish of the year. 2 thirds, 2 second places. Surely a race victory is just around the corner now for the young man from Madrid. And it's a race victory, a debut race victory for the Brazilian, hailing from Sao Paulo. Diogo Moreira held off the advances of 7 other riders on the final lap to take the 25 points here in Jerez. And with it, €500, courtesy of Repsol. Moreira finally wrapping up a superb weekend with pole position and now a race win, and now the Brazilian national anthem.
Fuerte el aplauso para el vencedor, para los integrantes del podio. Ahí están los integrantes del mismo, las autoridades ya.
The Brazilian national anthem ringing out here at Jerez for Diogo Moreira. First win in the European Talent Cup for him. Boy, was he forced to work hard for it. He posed for the pictures. David Alonso to his left, having ended second, and your new champion, Izan Guevara, to his right.
En el tercer peldaño del cajón, y por supuesto la gaseosa, que también tiene que correr como signo de celebración.
And now the fizzy water to be sprayed from the guys on the podium as well. I'm sure having won the championship, Izan Guevara may edge out to something a little bit stronger this evening, possibly a Coke or a Fanta Limon. Whereas his team, I'm sure, have earned themselves a hard work drink tonight after 3 more trophies to add to their collection. 4 more trophies, in fact, with 3 podiums and now the championship to take pride of place as well. The Cuna de Campeones squad continue to produce phenomenal talents year after year, with Guevara just the latest one off the production line out of that squad. And quite rightly, Izan Guevara gets the opportunity to stand on the top step of the podium and take the plaudits after clinching the European Talent Cup Championship here in Jerez, and joined by his team as well. A lovely moment here in Jerez, as all of the Cuna de Campeones squad join him on the top step of the podium. There it is, your champion in the European Talent Cup for 2019. Goodness gracious me, there's quite a lot of them as well. I think he's probably got aunties, uncles, cousins, anybody who's related to Izan Guevara, who have made the journey from Palma de Mallorca here to Jerez to celebrate his championship. But we'll have more of that to come, I'm sure, as he makes his way on the road to MotoGP. He'll have all sorts of relatives ringing him up for tickets and this, that and the other. It's just the start, I'm sure, young man. Has been cut above the rest this year, though, and that 3rd place finish confirming him as your champion here in Jerez. The race victory going the way of Diogo Moreira, ahead of David Alonso, with 4th place Alex Millán and 5th José Antonio Rueda. Lorenzo Fellon 6th with Daijiro Sako 7th and Ivan Altola 8th. Adrian Cruz says finishing 9th. Not long to wait though for the penultimate round of FIM CEV Repsol action. Round number 7 comes your way from the Circuito de Albacete in just 2 weeks' time. 1 Moto3 Junior World Championship race, 2 Moto2 European Championship races where we could see the championship decided there after another impressive victory for Edgar Pons, and 1 European Talent Cup race with that championship now sewn up. Make sure you join us for that one, a weekend off where you can possibly treat yourself to the Thai Grand Prix in Buriram. But then in 2 weeks' time, make sure you join us for round 7 of FIM CEV Repsol Championship action, where both the Junior World Championship and European Moto2 Championship pictures will change significantly, you would have to argue. Tonight though, it's all about Izan Guevara. He's our first champion of the year and done it in such impressive style as well. He made it 6 consecutive victories earlier on today and then followed it up with another podium finish. He's the 2019 European Talent Cup champion. In the Moto3 Junior World Championship, a great day for Jeremy Alcoba as he extended his championship lead, and a good day for Edgar Pons in the Moto2 series as well. But there is final confirmation that Izan Guevara is your new European Talent Cup champion, joining last year's winner Xavi Artigas as the man to hold the #1 plate. My name's been Jack Appleyard. Thank you very much from me and from Elliot York as well for joining us throughout today's action. We'll see you in Albacete in just 2 weeks' time.